You know that feeling, right? You know exactly what you need to do. You set a clear goal. You promise yourself, okay, this time's going to be different. And then somehow you end up right back in the same old loop of procrastination and disappointment. Well, let's get into this, because according to the psychologist Carl Jung, there's a way deeper reason for this cycle than you might think. I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You want to change, you know what's at stake, and yet it feels like some invisible force is slamming on the emergency brake right when you're about to hit the gas. And society, well, it has a pretty simple and honestly a pretty unhelpful answer for this. Right. The story we all get told is that you just lack discipline, that you need to try harder. But Jung believed this explanation wasn't just too simple, it was flat out dangerous. The real problem isn't that you're not pushing hard enough, it's that you're pushing against a part of yourself you can't even see. And this quote, man, it just nails the core of the issue. What Jung is saying is that there are these unrecognized forces inside you, kind of a hidden script that are quietly running your life. And as long as that script stays hidden, you'll just keep thinking it's fate or bad luck, when really, you're just a mystery to yourself. Okay, so let's completely reframe this whole thing. Self-sabotage? It's not some character flaw or a sign that you're weak. Jung saw it as a message, a really important one, a signal that a deeper part of you is trying to get your attention because it feels totally ignored. And you see this message pop up in this weird little split, right? The gap between what we think we want versus what we actually do. Just think about it. You consciously decide, okay, tonight I'm getting a full 8 hours of sleep, no excuses. And then what happens? You're scrolling on your phone till 1 a.m. That gap, that's where self-sabotage is born. And to really get this split, Jung had this brilliant metaphor. He said our conscious mind is like the small, brightly lit part of a stage. But behind that little spotlight is this huge, dark backstage area, and that's the unconscious. It's where all the forgotten memories, the shoved-down emotions, and deep drives are operating. And when what's happening on stage doesn't match what's going on backstage, the whole play just falls apart. And this brings us to a huge misunderstanding we all have about our own minds. We believe our conscious self, what Jung called the ego, is the director of the whole show. But that's a dangerous illusion. And it's exactly why our go-to strategy of just trying harder is pretty much designed to fail from the start. So look at this. This Sisyphus loop, it's just the perfect picture of the struggle, isn't it? It's this guy who has to push a boulder up a hill, but every time he gets close to the top, it rolls all the way back down. See, his tragedy isn't that he's weak, it's that he thinks more effort is the answer. He just keeps pushing harder, never stopping to question the game itself. Sound familiar? Okay, so here's the key point. Your ego, the part of you that thinks and plans and makes all those New Year's resolutions, is just the center of your conscious mind. It is not the whole shebang. The illusion of control happens when the ego thinks it's the absolute king, and that's when it accidentally starts this quiet little war with all the unseen parts of you. Which brings us right to the heart of it, the inner civil war that's quietly raging inside pretty much all of us. It's this battle between the version of ourselves we show to the world and all the parts we desperately try to hide. Jung called this public-facing version the persona. It's the psychological mask we all wear to fit in, to be liked, to get the job. It's kind of like the living room of your personality, you know? The part that's all tidy and well-decorated for when company comes over. It's not fake, necessarily, but it is a performance.
So what about all the stuff that doesn't fit in that perfect living room? The mess, the raw ambition, the anger, even your creativity or vulnerability. Well, all that gets shoved into this back room, the messy storage closet, the basement, and that's what Jung called the shadow. You don't go in there, and you definitely don't want guests to see it.
And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the persona, cool, calm, and collected. On the other side, the shadow, all the messy, powerful stuff that doesn't fit the image. The problem is, that door to the messy room, it doesn't stay locked forever. Eventually, the pressure builds up. And here's the thing, and Jung was really clear about this. Ignoring the shadow doesn't make it disappear. In fact, it does the opposite. The more you pretend it's not there, the more powerful and, well, weirder its influence gets. And it often shows up as self-sabotage at the worst possible moment. All right, so if fighting yourself is a losing battle, what do? Well, this is the real hack. It's about completely changing the game. You stop the fight, and you start listening. You start a dialogue. And you know what's cool? Modern science totally backs this up.
They call it the rebound effect. It's like if I tell you, whatever you do, don't think about a pink elephant. What are you thinking about right now? Exactly. Trying to suppress a thought or a feeling just gives it more power.
So how do you actually do this? How do you start a dialogue? It's way simpler than it sounds. The next time you feel that urge to procrastinate, that resistance, don't fight it. Just pause. Acknowledge it. You just notice it and go, okay, part of me really doesn't want to do this right now. You don't have to argue with it or fix it. You just let it be seen. That simple act changes the whole dynamic.
And that's really the heart of it all. True change doesn't come from pretending you're perfect or focusing only on the good vibes. It comes from being brave enough to just turn on the light in that messy back room and see what's really in there. So when this whole listening thing isn't just a trick you do once in a while, but it becomes how you operate, something really profound starts to happen. You start a process Jung called individuation. And this is the end game. This is how the inner war finally ends. And self-sabotage just becomes unnecessary. Now, individuation isn't about becoming perfect. It's not about erasing your flaws. It's about becoming whole. It's the process where the persona and the shadow finally stop fighting because both are given a seat at the table. It's about reconciliation, not one side winning and the other losing.
So if you remember one thing, let it be this. Self-sabotage is just your inner world shouting to get your attention. When you finally start listening to those ignored parts of yourself, they don't have to scream anymore. The self-destructive stuff just fades away. It doesn't need to shout anymore because it's finally been heard.
And the shift you'll feel, it's huge. You stop treating yourself like a broken project that needs to be fixed. Suddenly, failure isn't this terrible judgment on you. It's just data. It's information. And imagine all that energy, all the energy you were using to fight yourself is now free. You can actually use it to, live. And that's why Jung called this the privilege of a lifetime. Not to become what you think you should be, but to finally become who you truly are in all your glorious, messy complexity. So I'm going to leave you with one last question to chew on. When you don't have to perform for anyone, not for your boss, not for your friends, not even for yourself, who's left? Answering that is where the end of self-sabotage really begins,